Yeah, a little disclaimer. There's only like 3 people that know this story. Yes! And now there's going to be a big group of people. But so it's actually quite suitable because this happened almost 2 years ago to the day. It was a few days after Valentine's Day 2 years ago, and I was living in Utah, and my marriage of 4 years had just ended. And I decided to come home to Fargo for a few weeks. So I hop in my car and I pack up my things, and I'm like cruising, driving, solo road trip, independent woman. I think like Fleetwood Mac was playing or something. And then like, dun dun dun, my car breaks down. I was like in Idaho Falls, which is 4 hours away. So I was like, okay, so I'm stranded in this hotel room for 3 days, and by myself, trying to learn how to be single again. What do single people do? What can I do by myself in a hotel room? So, don't get any ideas. I sign up for an online dating profile. So, it's late. I was watching like a lot of, I don't know, House Hunters or something. And I start chatting with this boy who lives in Park City. And I was like, oh, he's cute, and he's nerdy, and he likes all my weird nerdy things. And so we're talking about British humor or something. And we're like talking for a long time. And so then we decide to talk on the phone. And so we talk on the phone, and he seems really normal and really nice. So I was like, I got a crazy idea. Why don't you come to Idaho Falls and take me out on a date? My parents found out about this. Don't put this on the internet. Okay. And he's like, oh, that is crazy. I don't know about that. I'm like, oh, it would be fun. Wow. So he's like, he's a scientist, okay? He doesn't get out much. He hasn't really had a lot. No offense to scientists. They're cool. Okay. But this one was I could tell he hadn't been out much. And he was like, he's like, you know what? I don't do very adventurous things, so I'm going to come. I'm like, okay. So he leaves that night, and we talk on the phone all through the night, and he shows up at my hotel room. Did not look like his profile picture. But it wasn't bad. It was just not as... He's very awkward. So we talk, and we go out for breakfast, and we just spend the day together, and it was very nice. I'm like, oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, by the way, I did give a disclaimer, like, this isn't a booty call. Don't expect that. This is just going to be a fun day. I have standards. I'm not going to, But I was very naive to think that he wouldn't think that might be a possibility. So he drops me off at the hotel, and he starts shaking and like heavy breathing, like, and I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm just really nervous. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. And so I took the initiative, and I gave him a smooch. It was like kissing a turtle. But it got better. And so in the midst of this, I'm like, so I take it, like, he was so nervous. I'm like, so are you not very experienced? Like, how far have you gone with the girl? And he's like, well, this is it. So I'm like, cool, he probably feels really happy that he is letting a girl touch him or whatever. So we're kissing, and it's getting better, and it's like, I wasn't gonna let it go very far, but I would let it go a little bit. And you can, he's into it. And then the phone rings. His phone rings. He lets it go. Rings again. He lets it go. Rings again. He lets it go. Then my phone rings, and I'm like, WTF? So it was an unknown number. So I answer the phone, and he's like, hey, we'll call him Charles. hey, I don't remember his name. Sure I do. Anyway, Charles. I'm like, it's for you. And he gets on the phone, and all of a sudden you hear, like, I can hear, like, what the F are you doing, man? Like, where have you been? And whose phone is this? And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, and he hangs up. He's like, yeah, so I stole my brother's car to come here, and I didn't tell anyone where I was going. And they called the cops, and they got your number from my phone records. And I'm like, this was a bad idea. And so first of all, I felt really bad for him because he was finally like touching a girl. And his brother calls and kills it. And also it just felt very strange. And so I'm like, well, I think you'd better go. And he's like, yeah, I will. So he left, and I went back to watching House Hunters and being very single, and decided not to do that ever again. Thank you.